cartoon screen. Whoa! Check. I love that alien.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Going on? Whoa, what the hell? I'm like, I'm giving my microphone a handy over here. All right, what's going on, everybody? We are live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok. Broadcasting live right now from the great old state of Maine. I've got my brother, Gary, out in Oregon, baby. That's right. He wanted to move out there once he was done watching Oregon's Trail. The man, the legend himself, ladies and gentlemen, coming back from double ACL surgery. Gary G, what is going on, brother? How are you?
Oh man, I'm good. I'm still struggling a little bit, but we're here. We're gonna do this. We're gonna fucking push through this and get her done.
That's good, man. You got to push through and get her done. Are you sitting with your legs out? You got your legs bent right now.
I got them bent right now. That's why
Nice.
it's gonna be a little tough at the end of the show to stand
Nice.
up, but it is what
So
it is.
You're gonna cry like a little girl, her doll taken away when this is all over with.
Pretty much. I've been crying.
Can you tell your wife to film it for me?
Yeah.
What is going on, everybody? What a freaking fantastic day. Before we get moving forward, first and foremost, tomorrow is Memorial Day. Ladies and gentlemen, please remember, tomorrow's not the day to go around thanking veterans for their service. Tomorrow's the day to honor those who have given their life for our country, for those who have fallen. And that is the day is for tomorrow. So please take a moment of silence tomorrow. Pour out a little bit of liquor or beer on the ground. For the ones who have lost their lives for our country. That is what tomorrow's about. It's great. We're going to enjoy barbecue, spend time with families, but please note while you're doing that, there's a reason why you're able to enjoy those barbecues. You're able to enjoy them because men and women gave their life for our country. I want to get that out there before we get rocking and rolling with the show.
Oh yeah, all about that.
And today's episode, ladies and gentlemen, we're kind of going off canter because it's been 3 weeks since we recorded, or 4 weeks. It's been a while.
I feel like it's been 4, might have been 3. I've lost
Right.
count. But I was pretty heavily medicated for a few weeks, so time's kind of elusive right now for me still.
Right. So for everybody who's joining in, please note that we are currently live Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and we're also live over on TikTok. It's interesting thing is, as far as tonight goes on TikTok, we're going to be bringing in TikTok guests as well to tell us their stories. So without further ado, let everybody know what our topics are about tonight. We're going to talk about surgeries, complications with surgeries, to home life, body wise, anything that surgery has caused complications to y'all. We want to know about what is going on, everybody. I see y'all out there, Dana, everybody on Facebook, Jennifer, Kayla, I see y'all over there on TikTok as well. We also going to talk about a lot of stuff that's currently happening here in the U.S. That's kind of interesting per se, and I want to get some feelers out there. So if you've ever recently had a surgery, maybe you had some complications over there on TikTok, feel free to request a box. We would love to speak to you. But let's talk about my brother here, the man, the legend, who just had double ACL surgery. Like, that's nuts. And you posted this on Reddit, and people on Reddit were even like shocked as hell that you went ahead and literally had both your knees operated on the same freaking day. Like, there was no break. You just told the doctor, screw it, poke me in both freaking kneecaps and let's get it done.
Well, I wish it were that easy. I had to actually go to like 3 different surgeons to find a doctor who would do it, because I guess doing a knee replacement for both knees is pretty common, but ACL surgery on both knees is not it's not a common procedure. Even when I was looking online, up like medical journals, there's just not a lot of documentation on it.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, is there a reason for that? Like, did the doctors tell you the reason why they wouldn't do why they would do a double like knee replacement versus a double ACL?
No, but every doctor that the first 2 doctors that I saw, they didn't want to do it, because I have my one of my knees has had 3 surgeries already.
Right.
And so they were like it's not gonna, I don't know. They just said, like, we'll do your left knee, because that's a straight up ACL surgery and that'll be easy enough. But your right one, it's had 2 ACL surgeries in the past. It's had a cleanup. It's a pretty arthritic knee. You should just kind of let it be. And I was like, I don't want to let it be. I want to put ACL in there. And so I had 2 doctors tell me that they weren't going to do the surgery. And so I found the doctor that did the surgery, and he actually brought up doing them both at the same time. He said if I'm willing to deal with it, he'll do it, but it's not going to be easy. And he was right.
So now we're done with the surgery. You had the double ACL surgery. You're back home. You've been out of work. Obviously, you had medical pay. Medical pay has now vanished. So now you're sitting at home trying to figure out how the hell am I going to make a living while I'm sitting there through recovery mode.
Mhm.
And what are you looking at right now as far as your recovery goes?
Just a lot of rehab. I mean, thank God I'm in pretty decent shape. I'm pretty fit. So that was another reason why the doctor was willing to do the surgery, is because I might be 40, but I'm pretty athletic.
You're
Yeah, I
old.
know. But I'm in the gym, 4 or 5 days a week. I'm doing CrossFit. I'm doing other stuff outside of that. So um right now it's like a lot of calf raises, a lot of tibialis raises, a lot of Jane Fondas, a lot of good mornings, a lot of ice, a lot of stretching, a lot of mobility stuff. If walking in and of itself is enough of a challenge, so I'm going up and down my street a couple times a day. My wife and I went to the grocery store today, and it was my first time in a grocery store in like a month. And after we got done shopping, I sat in the car and I was just like, fuck, like that was hard. Like, just walking around the grocery store, and we were in and out pretty quickly. We made a list of what we needed, and we just like bang, 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 bang. We just banged it all out. And that shit was still less than ideal for me. Probably 15, 20 minutes of just walking. And that was pretty gnarly. But yeah, on Reddit, really quick, like the folks on Reddit were losing their shit, because everybody's sharing their experience. And if anybody's ever had ACL surgery, it's it's brutally painful for the first week and a half, 2 weeks, just on one. And the fact that I got them both done, people were just like, how are you going to the bathroom? How are you walking? How are you doing anything?
Right.
So yeah. And it's the answer to those questions is very carefully.
So as you're talking, I'm having people talk about their heart surgery in here. People
Oof.
over on TikTok. I mean, the comments over here, and the comments are pretty quiet on the other social medias, but TikTok's blowing up a little bit. Number one, how's
Yeah.
everybody doing? I see y'all asking how we're doing. We're doing fantastic. We're finally back to able to record this podcast. But I have Mr. Witcher over on TikTok said he had this heart surgery months ago, and it didn't fix it, but it helped.
Yeah.
Um,
What's he got? What's his experience? Is he
he
willing
said
to share that?
he had 2 holes in his heart, and he was born with these 2 holes in his heart. So it's weird is they're talking about that. Remember our sister who passed
Yep. Yep.
before when I was born. That's what she
Yep.
was born with. She was
Exactly.
born with a hole of heart, and back then when she was born, they didn't have a way to fix it. So unfortunately,
Mhm.
our sister passed away.
Yep.
But yeah, so a hole in the heart's interesting. Witcher, I understand you don't have 1,000 followers, so you're probably unable to join into our live stream. So feel free to go ahead and call into the show if you'd like to discuss regards to your surgery. The phone number to the podcast is 207-370-5852. Once again, that's 207-370-5852. If you want to call in and talk to us in regards to your surgery, we'd love to hear about it. That goes for anybody really that would like to talk to us about that. So Gary, as you know, we set our goal prior to this. I know, kind of going off canter. That's what great thing about our podcast.
Yeah.
I told you we're going to set our goal for the Galaxy as we're doing this. I would like to let you know that we just got our first Galaxy. I saw it come through the screen. It was pretty cool.
So what do you do for a Galaxy, Mark?
I normally, if I'm live streaming and I'm doing my battles, a Galaxy will play a song, and
Okay.
I got to get up and shake my booty. And you remember Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
Yeah. Is that the Cartman dance?
Yeah, the Carlton dance. You know,
Oh, Carlton. Yeah.
you know, Carlton can't freaking dance.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me. Because every time I get a Galaxy and I get up and dance, people are like, "Oh God, please, Mark, sit back down."
Right.
It's horrible.
I'll pay you a Galaxy to dance, and then I'll pay you another one to sit back down.
Right, sit back down. Well, it's great, man. You know, let's go over here since TikTok's pretty. I've built. We've got this. I won't say I built, but I've gained this great TikTok family out here with a lot of respect. I got a lot of respect for a lot of people out here. As far as the love and support that we get, we have some fun with it, and every week we have a new punishment. Like I've told you about this wheel that happens, and there's a punishment if they actually land on the wheel. And if that happens, this week it's going to play the YMCA song. So I got to eat a slice of scorpion pepper cheese, put that in my mouth real quick, start chopping down on it, and as soon as the YMCA song kicks in, I got to stand up and dance to the YMCA song and do the whole YMCA dance for 40 seconds.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
While eating the scorpion pepper cheese?
Yeah, scorpion pepper cheese, my man.
All right.
It's going to be fun.
Now, is it a healthy piece of cheese, or are you kind of skimping on your
It all depends on how I slice it, man. You know,
yeah, I know. That's what my question is.
If they keep making me burn, I may dull it down a little bit. But we'll see. There was one time that they hit me. They spun it they hit it like 5 times in a row. It was freaking absolutely nuts. And then on my birthday, I got what they call a TikTok universe, which is at the time was the biggest TikTok gift you could get. That one, I had to do the toe of Satan lollipop in my mouth, dude, for 5 freaking whole minutes.
5 minutes?
5 minutes, I thought I was going to die. Granted, I did take it out of my mouth a couple of times because I had to spit in the freaking the trash can because there ain't no way I was swallowing the juices.
Come on.
No, because I don't swallow, brother. I'll leave that up to somebody who likes to swallow. Okay.
Wasn't gonna go there, but that's all right.
Hold on one second. Ladies and gentlemen, I see they're like, he must have muted the sounds. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, all the sounds on TikTok are muted at this time because we are doing a live recording of our podcast. We're actually live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Twitch. We're kind of live here on TikTok. We're also, this is going to be uploaded to Apple and Spotify and so forth. Any place you can listen to a podcast, that's where it's going to be uploaded to. So that's why all these sounds and animations are currently muted here on TikTok. My apologies, but we're doing a live recording here. And the reason why I did this is so y'all can go ahead and join in on the podcast and chat with us if you like. Because our next subject is going to be pretty fun. Since no one's really joining in for the surgery, let's go into the subject of
shaving your eyebrows.
No, we're not talking about why are you on the shave? We're not shaving my eyebrows. My wife wants me to shave my face. She wants me to just go baby back bald on my face. That's not
really.
happening. Yeah, really.
You would look so funny. I'm so used to seeing you like this now. It'd be so weird to see you,
dude. I don't know what I would look like if I had a shave face now.
Dude, shave your face and your eyebrows.
Fuck you. No, dude. You know what you can do? Gary, you kind of creep me out. I'm just going to walk away. That ain't the fucking button I wanted.
Touch me there. This is my no square. No, don't touch me there. This is my no square. What are you doing already?
Don't you touch my no square, Gary.
All right, what's the next subject, you fucking dipshit?
Nah, man, let's talk about the stuff that's happening. And, you know, this is where I want people to request a box on TikTok. If y'all got anything to talk about on this, please make sure you're in a quiet area. Actually, Mr. Witcher would like to call into the show regards to this heart surgery.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So the phone number to the studio is 207-370-5852. Once again, the phone number to the podcast studio is 207-370-5852. Feel free to call in. Just make sure you're in somewhat of a quiet area. 207-370-5852.
Heart surgery is so gnarly.
Actually, any of my moderators out here on TikTok, if y'all could, there we go. Farmer Dan, thank you for posting that out there. Farmer Dan, the gentleman that sent 2 galaxies out to us now. It's 207-370-5852. Thank you, Farmer Dan, for posting that in there.
Yeah, heart surgery, man, that's like, I was nervous as hell to get my knee surgery, but heart surgery, brain surgery, those things to me are beyond terrifying.
Heart surgery is absolutely scary, dude. And that's one of the main things that I'm scared about for our oldest son, because eventually at some point in his life, he's going to have to go through heart surgery because, you know, he has an aortic stenosis. So he's got these valves and there's leakage within the valves. So when his heart beats, there's a little bit of leakage that happens. And every year they have to monitor that, or every couple of years they have to monitor it, see if that increases. And at some point in his life, he's going to have to get an artificial valve put in.
Oh.
Right now he's golden, and now he's doing really good for his health. I was really concerned at one point because my son was a big boy. I weighed a little bit extra. He's lost so much weight now. He's doing better. He's physically active. He's doing PT. Like he's blown. Like he's doing.
I saw he went on a hike recently, right? Was that
he did. He went on one last weekend and one this weekend. So he's doing really good.
So that's good. Just being active, being out in nature. That's all gold. And
it is, man. And I'm looking to do that with the young ones here soon. Well, waiting for Witcher to call in. Yeah, speaking of heart attacks, I had one of those today, the other day. You saw the video. My son literally went airborne, tripped over his own feet, went airborne, and smashed into the freaking side of a freaking entryway.
Like a doorway.
And we thought he had a concussion because within an hour and a half afterwards, he started vomiting. And it was scary as shit. So obviously brought him to the ER, and we were there for like almost 6 hours. They monitored him and like they wanted to hold off on a CT scan, obviously, because a CT scan on a young child can possibly give cancer or whatever, or the chance increases or whatever, but it's slim, but they still hold off on it. So they did go ahead and do it, and we did get a call, but we missed it. Hold on 1 second here. 1 second here. Mr. Witcher tried to call Mark. All right, stand by. I'm going to try calling. I believe this is Mr. Witcher. Mr. Witcher, I'm going to try calling you back.
Yeah, didn't hear the line.
Can you hear the number call now?
Yep.
Whoops, hold on.
Call from Mr. Witcher. To accept, press 1.
Mr.
To send
Witcher,
a
hold
voicemail,
on.
press 2.
He sounded young. Mr. Witcher, can you tell me in chat how old you are? I'm sorry. Mr. Witcher, unfortunately, if you're under the age of 18, we can't have you on the podcast. I do apologize for that. If you're under the age of 18, we cannot have you on the podcast show. My apologies. He definitely sounded young to me. Did he sound young to you?
I didn't really hear it.
You didn't really hear it? All right, so let's move forward. Let's move forward into the podcast. My apologies, Mr. Witcher. I call me hanging. Yeah, Mr. Witcher, unfortunately, sounded like you're under the age of 18. You do have to be 18 or older to go ahead and be on the podcast. So for that, my apologies. But let's talk about some weird events happening in the United States. A train recently was carrying ammonium nitrate. I don't want to mess it up. I'm really bad with words here. Ammonium nitrate, over 60 tons. That's a lot. All went missing. Supposedly it leaked out on the railroad. They said it leaked out while they're driving. Did it really, though? That's my question, because shortly after that happens, 50 members, only 50 members of Congress all receive satellite cell phones. Only 50.
Coincidentally, it's just a coincidence.
Yeah, just a coincidence. Now let's talk about that. 50 Congress members. That's it. How many Congress members does it take to vote to make a vote pass? It's 50. Am I correct? Are you Googling it right now? I believe
I'm
it's
just seeing how many there are.
right. But regardless of how many there, I believe it takes 50 Congress members in order to cast a vote.
So there's 100 senators, 435 representatives, 6 non-voting delegates.
All right. So I believe in order to pass any type of vote, like if there was some type of event, 50 of them.
So was it 50 senators? Do we know?
I do not know if it's 50. I don't know. I'd have to look into it more. All I know is it's 50 Congress. Everybody in chat's going, I did nothing. Current events, I'm a Viking and still planning to take over the world, Vandegrainer said. But no, if you really think about it, that's kind of fishy, right? So you have this ammonium nitrate that went missing. Only 50 Congress members receive these satellite cell phones. Now there is talk, and obviously it is just talk. So before I get any further into this podcast, let me get this out here now. I'm down to 9 people in the TikTok now, only a few people over here on YouTube and so forth. But let me get this out here before we go any further in this podcast. Everything y'all folks are going to hear within our podcast is the opinions of myself, my brother, and anybody who comes on the show as a guest. And feel free to request a box if you would like to come in and talk to us regards to any of this. The guest box is right there. Please note that it is the views and the opinions of myself and any guest that comes on the show. And it is for entertainment purposes only. It's up to you guys who are listening to the show to do with the information as you please. And I always tell people to please do your own research. And that goes for anything you watch, whether it's local media, any other podcasts out there. Do your own research and come up with your own answers. So once again, this is for entertainment purposes only. Now let's get back to the show. I mean, what are your thoughts? Don't those seem kind of fishy to you? With these satellite phones and
yeah, I mean the satellite phone thing to me is it's just weird. Why there were only 50 given out? Does that mean the other 500 some odd members have their own satellite phones?
No, there is no more.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. It's interesting, and the hard thing is like we're so far connected from the truth of what's really going on. It's like no matter what they tell us, it's like whether it seems incomplete or sketchy or half truth or whatever, it's just like, man, it just seems weird.
Right.
50 members, and there's, according to this, there's 500 or something.
Right. It's absolutely crazy, dude. Like, what is it? What smoke and mirrors are we missing here as United States citizens? And this is something, like I said, that's why I said when we started up the podcast and I told everybody on TikTok, I was like, listen, I don't care what side of the political fence you're on. I'm open up to all aspects of it and see what everybody's opinions are. Yeah, there's conspiracy theories. What we're talking about right now, yeah, it's probably most definitely a conspiracy theory, but it's something that kind of sparks your mind and goes, what if, right? Why? There's questions. There's always going to be questions why, and everybody has them. No matter what side you're on, you have this question of why. They purposely do the smoke and mirrors. That's the sad part. They don't want to communicate. Exactly. I do 100% agree. They do leave the American people out with a lot. Like, as far as anything that's currently going on overseas, like, we truly don't know what's happening, right? We do know that there was recently attacks on our Guam servers, which caused a disruption. And could that have been a test before something big does happen? Could we be seeing something soon where rolling actual blackouts across the U.S.? It could happen. It all takes is a few good hackers out there. All of our electrical grid is now on the freaking internet. It's controlled by the web. You could access it.
So I've been watching somehow or another, like I watch a lot of podcasts,
right?
And this random retired quote retired CIA agent has been popping up on my feed quite a bit. Andrew Bustamante.
Bustamante. Okay.
Don't know anything about him except for the fact that he's a retired CIA agent, and he goes over a lot of the details about the CIA.
Keep talking.
Yeah, he goes over a lot of details about the CIA, what's going on internationally, what's going on here domestically, what their role is with information, disinformation. There are different layers and tiers within the agency. And one of the things that he said is like freedom isn't free. And that's obvious. We know that with our own service members, but the fact of the matter is like our political leaders, a lot of these folks that are in the government, they're in there for a lifetime. And like the president isn't, right? So the president elects, they all make a bunch of promises and then they disappear for 2 weeks. And then when they come back from that little 2-week hiatus, none of the promises that they made during their campaign are even like worked upon. And that's because based off of what this guy says and what he doesn't say, basically implies that like the CIA and the FBI are the ones who are actually in charge, and the military are the ones who are actually in charge. So I understand that the president's supposed to be the commander in chief, but he's only in for 4 years. He's only in for 8 years. He's out. Like there's people who have been in there for 30 years. Like those are the guys that are in charge. And so this Andrew Bustamante guy is pretty interesting. If you check him out, if you Google him, I think he's on a bunch of podcasts. I don't know if he's got his own thing going on, but
yeah, you had me listen to him just recently. You sent me the link to those two.
So
yes.
check that guy out if your listeners are interested in kind of hearing a little bit about what's going on politically, because politics aside, there's a lot of information, disinformation, spying, manipulation of the American people, the whole like spying on the American people. According to what this Bustamante guy is saying, like it's been going on for a lot longer than we could even imagine, and it's not probably ever going to go away, or it's never going to stop.
Yeah,
it's
it was way before. It happened way before what's his name recently became as a whistleblower and had to go hide out.
Snowden. Yeah. So Snowden is he's a citizen of Russia now. So does that mean he's like working with Russian intelligence? Does he have national loyalty to America more so than Russia? I mean, the guy is pretty smart. He had access to a lot of stuff. He downloaded a lot of stuff. He got access to a lot of information. A lot of it came out, but how much of it didn't come out? How much of it did he not, leak to other reporters and other folks to get that information out? We understand that he was using that information to get access into certain countries when he was fleeing America so he could stay safe. So like how many other countries did he help out? How many other countries got information about our intelligence that they weren't supposed to get? You know what I mean? It's just, it's so complicated, and it's pretty muddy, and it's unfortunate because it's like, we live in America. We grew up in America, and like our perspective of America is that America is the best. And I believe that, knowing all of the corruption and everything like that, because the way we live up until recently has been pretty damn good in comparison to the rest of the world.
Right.
So, but I don't, you know what I mean? There's so many people from third world countries just like coming in now. And if you walk down any major city, the streets of any major city, you're going to see entire blocks full of people who are on drugs, and they're essentially like zombies, right? They're on drugs. They're walking around like they're leaning over. They're literally defecating in the streets. There's needles and it doesn't look like the America of 5 years ago.
No, not at all.
So
it doesn't look that we were kids. Yeah, there's more homelessness. There's more drug problems within our streets. Definitely.
And that's all cities. That's not just Democratic cities. It's Republican cities too. Like if you go, it's less in the Republican cities, but it's still there. You
Right.
know.
Safe Haven over here at TikTok says, "Can we possibly talk about also what is happening in Arkansas with the governor is trying to pass?" I am unaware what the
What's going on in
Arkansas
Arkansas?
right what is going on in Arkansas. Safe Haven, our TikTok boxes are open. If you guys want to join in the podcast, please know that this is a live recording, so you will be on Apple and Spotify. But feel free to request a box right here on TikTok and tell us what's going on. All right, it looks like we do got a request coming in from Safe Haven over here on TikTok. So let me go ahead and bring them into the show. Let's see. Safe Haven, what's going on? You're on.
Hello. Can you hear me?
You're kind of low. Let me see if I can turn you up. Give me a mic check.
Mic check, 1, 2.
There we go. I can definitely hear you better now. What's going on, Safe Haven?
Nothing much. So, yeah, here in Arkansas, our governor, Sanders, she is trying to pass, she wants to make it, nice sounding and call it the Learning Act. But in reality, she wants to turn our clock back like 50 years and make us segregate schools again.
God damn it.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, we've said it before on a bunch of our other shows. We are definitely going back in a time, like as far as segregation goes, and I'm going to be very careful on how we tread here because we are on TikTok.
Exactly.
But if you go back, the way our country is being so divided by race again, I made a TikTok recently saying that we shouldn't judge anybody by any of their color or anything like that. We should judge the person only by their character. That video was removed for hateful behavior. So as far as that governor, yeah, I believe 100% that we're going back and that should not be passed. There should be no segregation for anybody, no segregation for the blacks, no segregation for whites, no segregation for anybody whatsoever. We shouldn't be going back in time. And I feel like we are. And everybody is blind to see it right now because they're too busy blaming the left for the left, the right for the right. I mean, it's horrible. We need to unite again and realize it don't matter what color we are, but we do realize our government is tearing us apart.
So you said that she's trying to paint this in a way that is obviously sugar-coated and, essentially double speak. But what is the goal? What do you think the goal is that she's trying to accomplish by bringing back segregation? Like, what is that going to accomplish?
I definitely don't think it's going to accomplish anything. And the saddest part is the court. The court has stopped it at holding what's it called? A restraining order, a temporary restraining order against it. And they're going to be hearing it, airing it soon about going back and looking at it. But she's already said that, it's definitely not going to fly and she's going to get it pushed. And I personally, I have officially been in a Facebook jail because I spoke out about it and she didn't like it. And I was trying to make people aware of it because nobody here in Arkansas has been listening to the news.
That is absolutely insane. And the censorship on Facebook, it's funny that you mentioned that. That's actually one of the biggest reasons why I started my podcast up a year and a half ago. Was because I was getting banned. You can ask.
You got put in Facebook jail a few times.
I got put in Facebook jail quite a few times. And that's the sad part, right? Is we can't speak our minds anymore unless you go with one certain agenda. If you are on a borderline, you talk on the borderline both agendas or whatever, you get banned. If you go with one political party versus the other one, you get banned. If you talk about this event or this or that, you get banned. Like, what happened to our freedom of speech? What happened to our right to voice our opinions? We're being silenced by these politicians. And like you're saying with that governor in Arkansas, she's using her power to cause segregation again. And yet everyone's being a blind eye to it because they want to, trying to think of it. They're drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yes, most definitely.
But what is she saying the goal is, though? So, I mean, she's trying to bring this in for a reason, right? Is she trying to, it's always for safety, right? That's what it always is about. But like, what is her position on it?
So I actually have a really good friend of mine that works with the media group, and he actually went in and tried to get her to comment on, her reasoning behind it and what she hopes to accomplish with this. And the only thing that she could come back at him with was that she refuses to respond, and basically emailed him a Twitter post about how she's not going to let this fly in court. But, the thing is I really want to know, what does she want out of this? I mean, but upon the safety thing, you got to kind of skip around here because it is TikTok.
Mm.
With the things going on with schools, it's not racial positioned. It's going on everywhere, and it's all different races. So we can't say it's because of that. And I think she's honestly just wanting to create more drama upon the world than what's really going on right now, especially in our state. And she wants to call it the Learning Act. Well, what in position of that is anywhere close to learning? I mean, other than what that history is repeating itself.
Yeah, and it's going back. It's like that's regression, not progression.
And
Exactly.
history always seems to repeat itself, which is sad.
I'm just curious, like how she's framing it. Like I'm trying to pull up articles quickly while you're speaking about it. And it's like, there's a judge that puts a freeze on the governor's signature for the LEARNS Act. It's pending June 20th hearing, but like, there's no outline of
there's no
what
reason behind it.
LEARNS Act.
No.
Like, what is it? What is the goal of it aside from
to create
what we're
segregation is you're creating more hate.
Yeah, and
when you
and
create
that-
more
that's
hate,
what
you're
I'm
going to
afraid
create
of.
more divide.
Yeah, and that's what I'm really afraid of, because it's like, as a lot of people know, here in Arkansas, we do have a lot of mixed families and mixed racials. So, and there's a lot of towns around here that have a lot of blacks in them. So if she passes this, we thought that the BLM was really a big problem. This is going to be 10 times bigger here in just one state.
I think we're going to have to watch that one, because even though we kind of broke away from our political stance on our podcast, this is something to really watch for.
I do a lot of business in Arkansas, so come next week when I get back into the office, I'm gonna call some of my folks out there and just kind of pick their brain, because I'm curious about it.
Yeah, Safe Haven. Why don't we let us look into this a little bit more. Next week the podcast show that I'm looking to do is going to be a little more deep. But if we can recamp a little bit on that one, or regroup a little bit on that one, I definitely will.
Yeah,
Because
most definitely.
next week's show, we're going to be talking about mental health, and going back to a lot of the unaliving issues that's happening right now in our country, as that's becoming a bigger problem, especially in the young adults. So we want to talk about that, and I'll be promoting that to get some people in here.
Yeah, I'll definitely I'll be down to join that podcast, because I've been in that position before, and I can actually go around to schools and talk about that during the mental health months. So I'll be willing to hop onto the podcast and share some info.
That'd be
really cool. Yeah, that'd be really cool.
I'll be setting the podcast for right around 9:10, because my brother's never on time. He went on a dinner date. He's extremely late when it comes to time to start the podcast. I always go about 10 minutes when our normal start time should be. So, but yeah, I'll be creating an event for that on TikTok here. So definitely love to have you on the podcast for next week for that show.
Yeah, definitely. I'm down. Now back to the train thing though.
Yes.
I definitely, I'm definitely there with you. Where did the fluids go? Because I mean, it's definitely not like somebody walked in with a big old straw and was sucking it out and putting it in a totally different tank. And especially, why only 50 of them? I mean, I realize that's how many it takes to pass a bill, but why only 50 of them with a satellite cell phone? What are they really hiding from us?
Exactly. Well, here's the thing, and of course, it's TikTok and it's the internet. And when you do some more research and you look into it a little bit more, there's a bunch of videos out there that's talking about a certain blackout that's eventually going to happen. Now, granted, they have talked about blackouts now for the past 2 to 3 years, and we haven't seen nothing, right? But if a blackout or a natural or an event does happen where our power grid does get knocked down, there's a couple of things that come into play with that, right? It's going to take anywhere between 6 months to a year to recover from that and get everything back online. What happens in a year's time frame? An election, right? Now now I'm putting out there TikTok. I got anybody listening and trolling me. I'm admitting this is a conspiracy theory, because we don't know. We're just talking shit out of our mouths right now, because you just never know. It's what if scenarios. So we got that. And then What if let's not talk about that. Let's talk about, so we just recently had an attack on a Guam servers and proving that Guam was weakened, right? And there's a lot on these Guam servers. So if they can attack the Guam servers, what's to say that we're on the freaking Chinese app right now? But let's just say China does go ahead and attack freaking Taiwan. Now, is this a pretest prior to them doing this? Because if they attack on the Guam side and take that down, does that give them access or a hole where they can get in beforehand before people realize it? If the
So-
Guam have that connection that can have that, I
So
know that
real-
relatives out there, so I'm interested, Gary.
Yeah, no. So it's an interesting thing. So back to that Andrew Bustamante guy, he was talking about the China Taiwan relations, and one of the concepts or theories that they brought up is it's not necessarily going to get violent like what we're seeing with like Russia and Ukraine. It's going to be more along the lines of what they did with Hong Kong. So what they can do, because China's got their political system, and they don't necessarily need to go through like votes through their houses or anything to like pass or change laws. They can basically just change any law verbiage that they want. And then it's like, and unfortunately, even the United States recognizes Taiwan as part of the One China, Two Systems party. So that's like kind of a very loose stance that America holds on Taiwanese independence, right? So they're saying that basically China can just change the verbiage of some of their legal stuff, and then that way they can make it so it's not necessarily an attack, but they can just basically put their troops there. If you look exactly at what they did to Hong Kong a handful of years ago, you know what I mean? That's just what they did. Obviously, it's different because there was a bridge
Right.
connecting mainland China to Hong Kong, so it's a slightly different portal to get to Taiwan, but it's only an 80-mile stretch across the Taiwanese Strait. So that's what they're saying, that it's not necessarily going to be bloodshed or like taking out any power grids or anything like that. It's going to be more of a, like, America's already we're already caught up in our own bullshit, that we're distracted and we're already sort of getting divided, and our military is kind of in a weird wonky position right now as it is. So they're saying, at least that's what they're saying from some of these other podcasts from folks that are what I believe they're actually in charge, because they're FBI and CIA and, extended military presence. So I don't know if it's necessarily going to be like attacking Guam. Some of that stuff that they're doing is probably just testing the waters, poking the bear to see what they can get away with. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't know. I don't think it's going to come down to bloodshed. I think it's going to be more of a political shift, a shift in the rules, and then they will be able to occupy Taiwan in a lesser than violent bloodshed type fashion.
All right. Makes interesting.
Yeah. But I mean, with regards to that's the explosives going missing and the phones being deployed over here, I think our military was just hacked, right? I don't know if you guys heard about that, but weren't there like our cruise ships that are heading out overseas right now? Weren't those just recently attacked or hacked? Wasn't there just some hacking that went on those recently?
I haven't listened to the news most recently, so I will have to look back into
Yeah,
that
so
one.
I feel like I just read something last week that they were saying like not the USS Nimitz or whatever, but like some of our cruise ships were hacked, like our communications were interfered with.
I think over the course of the next month and a half, 2 months, I'm living, just make sure I got what I need, just in case, because you never know, right? And yes, prepping is not a bad idea, folks. You ain't prepping always for the end of times. You're also prepping for
Exactly.
natural disasters,
100%.
hurricanes, earthquakes, and stuff like that. So should everyone be doing prepping? Yes. And I don't care what side of the political fence you're on. Even if you're on the left, you should be prepping, because in an event of a natural disaster hits your hometown, it does take a while for rescue to show up. It does take a while for your local counties and even your reserves to get out to you to rescue, because they got to go through the hardest hit places first. So you could go 1 to 2, maybe even 3 or 4 weeks without food or water supplies. So you need to make sure you have it on your own.
Yeah.
And Vanna Grant, I do 100% agree with you down in the chair. If you don't have your pew-pews and all that fun jazz, you probably should. And that is why we have our Second Amendment, folks, not only just to protect yourself against a, foreign and domestic, you also got to protect yourself for events like this. It is,
Exactly.
It's not just for hunting. It's also to protect yourself and your family, because if, God forbid, if anything ever did happen, a natural disaster happened, you're down your law enforcement. You don't have law enforcement. You're down your firefighter. You're down your rescue. The only people that's going to be able to save you in a time like that is yourself.
Yeah. If the grid goes down, people are going to run out of food real quick. And then when people run out of food, they get really desperate. And then that's when shit gets real.
Yep. Once they're out of food, exactly. When people are hungry, they get desperate, and they will do anything they can to feed themselves and feed their families.
Yep.
Yeah, and I personally, I have learned that prepping saves lives. Whenever Little Rock got hit with the tornado, really, really bad, I was actually living there at the time, and I had a bunch of prep buckets, and there was multiple families that were going a while without food, and I was able to take some of my buckets, take them over to them personally, and give them some food because nobody else was wanting to share.
Interesting. All right. With all that being said, we are about 46 minutes in. I know we're gonna get your knees a little break, and to next week's show, Gary, I want got some homework for you since you're kind of crippled. I want you to get some statistics up for us on.
I'm immobilized, not crippled.
Oh,
immobilized.
You're crippled.
Slightly.
Whatever. Do you ever if you can get the statistics on the unaliving from young adult to adult, I would love to know those numbers. Safe Haven, if you are willing to come on the show next week as well, we'll be again on Sunday at this time, 9 p.m. Eastern. We would like to talk about that as well.
Yeah, I'm always available and willing to talk about it. That's why I try to bring awareness to the young children and the kids and the teenagers, because it's a big thing, and it's not definitely not spoken about. It's blanketed.
Definitely is. All right, so I'd love to have you on the show. Safe Havens, thank you for coming on tonight's show. I'm going to end this as well right here on Facebook.
Problem. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, as well as TikTok. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. TikTok, I will be on here in about 20 minutes or so y'all can try to give me the new punishment. I'll give you all an hour's worth of trying to punish me. So I'll be on here in about 20 minutes or so.
Let's try to get Mark to shave his eyebrows, y'all.
I'm not frickin' shaving my damn eyebrows, Gary. Back off.
If we request it enough and he gets enough money, he'll do it.
Dude, the only way I'd shave my eyebrows, I'd make 10 grand in one freaking battle, and that ain't
Told
happening.
you. He's got a price, y'all. Let's make
I
it
do
happen.
got a price, but there's no way I'd get 10 grand. So we're good. I'll put that price so high it ain't gonna happen. You hear me?
All right. Let's help him shave his eyebrows, y'all.
The stash is not going, Steph. I'm not losing the brows, y'all. I'm not losing the brows. All right, Gary. Let's do the outro. Let's get out of here. TikTok,
Right.
I'll see y'all soon. We're going to be getting out of here, y'all. I appreciate everybody tuning in. For everybody who wants to see how the punishments work, let's go. Yes, thank you, Vanna Grant, for keeping the beard and the stash safe this week. I appreciate you, my man. Here we go.
You've known them to run their mouth.
Shut up. No one.
You've been listening to the Mark G Show. You may know them from their political commentary, but there's a lot more to the fellas than politics. And that's why we created this show. We hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon. But until then, make sure to reach out on social media. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok at The Mark G Show. And to email the show, it's on air at themarkgshow.com. Take care, and we'll see you next time on The Mark G Show.